What's up, guys? Dominic D. Hargrove, Slight Edge Performance Program. This is a quick video, 3 things black student athletes should know. And I'm choosing to speak to the dynamic of black student athletes, especially here in America, based on the dynamics of psychology, mental health, and self-image. My goal is to help black student athletes. This video will help all student athletes and all people with the information I'm putting in here. The 3 things black student athletes should know, but I'm specifically speaking to the dynamics of the mental health, psychology, healthy self-image when it comes to black student athletes making that transition and the ability to grow themselves past just the paradigm of sports. So let's get right into it. Those 3 things, and I'm going to go into in-depth description, but those 3 things are: 1, association, who you know and who knows you; 2, reading, the importance of reading and listening for personal development, self-development, and education; and the 3rd thing is sexual transmutation. And I'm going to go ahead and just show chapter right there, this book, Think and Grow Rich. That's the 3rd one. We're gonna get into that. So let's get right into it. I was talking with one of my good friends the other day. I went to the Redskins football training camp here in Richmond, Virginia, and man, it was great time. We had VIP access, so we were right around the action. And my good friend, he actually is a 3-year NFL veteran, and I've known him since the 6th grade, and we've from the 6th grade to senior year in high school, all the way through the transition in college, to when this guy, my good friend, achieved his dream that 1% of student athletes achieve, which is making it to the pros. And he played 3 years there. And so we were talking, and I saw one of the Redskins players, guy doing his thing. He has a multi-million-dollar contract, and I was like, yo, he getting his money, man. He getting his bag, multi-millionaire. And my good friend, because of his knowledge and experience as a former NFL player, he said, well, yeah, but man, that money can go fast. It's not what most people think when it comes to being a multi-millionaire in sports. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? He said, well, he was on the practice squad, and when he made his big check in the NFL, it was $36,000. And I was like, wow. And he said, you know how much money I received from that $36,000 after taxes? He said, $19,000. I was like, wow, man. And we began to just talk more how the illusion of making a lot of money, and that type of money when it comes to the active side of the cash flow quadrant. And we'll get more into what passive income is, what an asset is, what actual wealth is. But he was talking about the taxes from that $36,000. He received $19,000. And I said, wow, man, you at least you got that check, man. It's still a bigger check than most people get. And I was like, yo, how long did it take you to get that check? I was thinking he was gonna go into practice and preseason, and he said it took him 20 years. Why? Because my good friend, really, since I've known him, he's been putting in that work from rec league, high school, to the college to get to the pros. So he said it took 20 years to get that check. So we were talking about just the dynamics of how athletes spend so much time putting all their effort, time, energy, blood, sweat, tears, health into the sport, and really what really matters even after the sport career is done. So let's get into those 3 things black student athletes should know. The first thing, association. It's about who you know and who knows you. And a little bit about my story. I went to Virginia State on a football scholarship. HBCU, historically black college university, great experience. And it was a cool journey for me because it was an educational journey. And I talk a lot about the evolutionary educational experience of athletes, because we're literally evolving and growing from 16, 15 years old, 22, 23, all the way into your 30s. And so I was fortunate to meet my mentor, 2008, and he started teaching me about passive income. You know, how to build my own asset, how to not just use my time to make money, which is the active side of the cash flow quadrant, but to get to the passive side of the cash flow quadrant. If you know anything about Robert Kiyosaki, cash flow quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki wrote books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He wrote books like The Cash Flow Quadrant, The Business of the 21st Century. Look it up for yourself. But my mentor began to teach me about passive income. You know, how to build an asset, something that'll make money and generate income for me while I sleep. And so who you know and who knows you is how you will evolve in life. You know, you will have access to certain information, certain knowledge based on who you know and who knows you. Because my mentor, he recommended books like The Next Trillion, recommended books like Master Key to Riches, recommended books like, this is a good book, The Dynamic People Skills. You know, people skills are huge. And so association, who you know and who knows you, is going to help you in your transition in life while you are a student athlete, whether you become a pro athlete, and transitioning after your sports career is done. The second thing is the importance of reading and listening. Because once again, your own personal development, your own mindset entrainment. Once again, my mentor was able to give me access to a certain thought process. And, you know, just through a very simple performance-based qualification, I was able to get access to mega multimillionaires, wealthy people. And not only access to them, but access to their mindset. You know, when you have access to certain books, certain knowledge, you're able to, just like your phone or your computer, you upload a wealth creating, asset building, how to attract success mindset. Instead of just allowing anything to come into your subconscious mind, you're like reading books like Think and Grow Rich. And I'm going to get into the last thing, the third thing, which is the bonus, very important. Having access to books and education helps you to develop the proper mindset to really attract what you want. Okay, and so the third thing is sexual transmutation. And why am I saying this? Guys, I was a young, and I still am young, but I'm just talking about my high school days, my college days at Virginia State University. Poppin' HBCU. If you know anything about HBCU, awesome experience, fun experience. Into my, now into my early 30s. Guys, this chapter that Napoleon Hill talks about, sexual transmutation, I'm going to read a little bit real quick. The mystery of sexual transmutation, and he calls it in this book, the 10th step towards riches. The meaning of the word transmute is in simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Because of ignorance on the subject, this state of mind is generally associated with the physical, and because of improper influences to which most people have been subjected in acquiring knowledge of sex, things essentially physical have highly biased the mind. What is he saying? He's saying that when most people think about sex and the energy of sex, they immediately think about something physical. In this book, Think and Grow Rich, this chapter about the mystery of sexual transmutation, in this book, he studies successful people, mega multimillionaires, mega wealthy people. He finds one trait in common with them all, that they have a very high sex drive, but they became very successful because their ability to transmute that sex drive. What are we talking about here? That ability taking that high sex drive and deciding to read. Taking that high sex drive, and instead of wasting it on a physical act and dispersing it on a physical act, deciding to use that energy to take action behind making their dreams happen. All right? Check that book out for yourself. I hope this video helps. Not going to get too long into it, but these are 3 things that I really think can help all athletes, especially black student athletes. Guys, email me. Don't forget to ask me about my vitamin program. We're helping athletes to make it to the next level. Peace.